Alright, around we go. This is the latest weekly Odyssey from Ninja Kiwi. As usual, I'm going to be going through it on hard difficulty. If you want me to try it on any other difficulties, leave a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, this seems... I don't actually know what that map is, so that could be some trouble. But so far, this is looking like a nice set of maps. Anyway, around we go. Round and round and round and round. Wait, did I say that right? Round. Yeah. Alright, well, that's all the description we actually get. Let's have a look at these maps. Ah, it's the train tracks one. Oh, okay. Or the mining one. Yeah, the mining one. Alright, so, it looks like this whole Odyssey is based on just different maps that have a couple loop-de-loops in them, or bend and twist in and on themselves and snake around, and I guess it's... I don't know, I guess that's just the theme, but seems like a whole bunch of pretty nice, easy maps. Maybe not that one. It depends on what we get. Anyway, medium standard, 650 to start, 2 to 80. Ooh, in the loop, hard Apopalypse, 650 to start, 1 to 75. Okay. 4 circles, hard standard, 3 to 70, 850 to start. Simple. Downstream, hard Apopalypse, 1 to 80, 650 to start. Okay. And underground medium reverse, 2 to 85, 650 to start. Okay. So this seems like a fairly straightforward Odyssey. If you read my DM, you know where I am going. Yeah, I know you can't hang around for the whole time, but that's all right. All good, confused cat. Happy you came to said hello. All right, let's have a look at the details. So we can choose Pat, Etienne, Sorta, or Psy. Okay, interesting picks. Not my favorite, but yeah. And then we've got a decent chunk of primary monkeys, decent chunk of military, very restricted magic monkeys, and then some pretty decent support monkeys. But other than that, I think we're good to go, because we don't care about powers whatsoever, or at least I don't. Yeah, I can't imagine what you're going through right now, confused cat. Like, I personally never really knew, like, my sort of older family members, because most of them live in another part of the world, so I never really got to know them all that well, but yeah. I'm sure you'll get through it. It's going to be tough. It's really going to be painful, but you got this. You got this. Alright. Pat, Etienne, Sorta, or Psy? I kind of want to go Sorta. I do like Sorta. Able to pop camos and leads with her ability. Psy's a bit slow for me. Etienne's pretty good, but we don't need camo detection, so I think I'm gonna go Sorta, just for damage. Oh, no restrictions, this is brilliant. Ninja, sadly no alchemist. Definitely want a wizard. Village, yeah, village would be good. Oh, I'm just glad it's not an extreme Odyssey. Dart monkey for crossbow master. Sniper for elite defender. And I'm thinking maybe a plane, because none of them restricted us on, none of them restricted us in terms of, like, type of monkey to use. I think we just double up on all of these except for the village. I don't think we need a second village. And then we'll take a third ninja? Yeah, okay. I think that'll be good. Really annoying. Before 40 days USA, but also not. Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult process to go through when someone close to you like that just leaves your life. Like, even if you didn't know them all that well, just knowing that, you know, you won't really get to see them all that much anymore. Well, I'm putting it lightly. You won't get to see them anymore. It's just, yeah, it's a change. We're not used to change. A lot of the times we don't like change. Alright. But yeah, we should be fine with this, considering Sorter's pretty cheap. You should be able to start off with Sorter on most of these maps, if not all. It really just depends on your monkey knowledge, because you can get ones that'll give you a little bit of extra cash, or you can get the ones that make your heroes cost a little bit less. Combining both of those, though, is probably the optimal level. Alright, actually, we need someone that can pop leads first before I delve into camo detection. So let's do this. Alright. Okay, so this is a pretty chill Odyssey. I feel like no one should really be struggling with this one, just because there's no like restrictions on upgrades you can get, or there's also no restrictions like magic monkeys only or military monkeys only to make you pick certain things over others. So should be a breeze for most people. Your turn hurt because you wore a seatbelt too much? Yeah. Alright, there we go. Wall of fire. Alright, to be honest, with Sorter and a wall of fire, you can probably just sit back, grab yourself a drink, eat some dinner, do whatever you want really, while you're waiting for things to actually get difficult. But in the meantime, I'm gonna try and get this boy to a necromancer. High and by now? Oh, alright. Take care, confused cat. Hope your day picks up. Okay, going for Shimmer, which I don't really care for, but we have to get it in order to get the necromancy, so why not? Because like, camo detection's the least of our problems at this point. Sorta can detect camos from level 1. Dart Monkey can very soon detect camos, and even this guy on his own can detect them, so it's not really something we need to prioritize, if I'm honest. I think Etienne would also be a pretty good pick. Pat, not so much, but then again, I don't use Pat all that often, so that's just my opinion, not based off any sort of research or play testing or anything. I just don't use him much. And compared to Etienne and Sorter, I think he's probably slightly weaker in the early game. Also, I've completely forgotten what Apopalypse is. I think it's just the rounds keep going and you can't like stop them. It's basically like having auto start on, so I never really notice. But I think some of the rounds are more difficult than normal. Yep, there's the purples. Sorter. Thank you. When do purples show up? 25. Okay. Interesting. Never actually realized that until now, so maybe I can start to remember that every time I play Magic Monkeys only, because I always forget. And I usually forget to place a ninja sometimes. There we go. Good old necromancy. They can pop the purples. Alright. So we'll ignore our wizard now. I think we're going to focus on our dart monkey. Try and get him at least to the critical shots, if not crossbow master. We should be able to get him to a crossbow master before round 63. That's what I'm aiming to do. At the very least. Because, I mean, we're earning a decent amount of cash at the moment. Hey, there comes that shimmer That useless shimmer. I only say it's useless because everything that we currently have on screen can already see camo balloons. It's just not needed. Alright, sharpshooter, beautiful. Quick shots, and very quickly after that. Okay, we're straight up chilling. Oh. Oof, and I'm thinking that I'm thinking tomorrow is well, I'm gonna release the part 2 for this tomorrow. I always break it up into 2 parts for YouTube, but I'm thinking the day after that. What's the day after tomorrow? Saturday. Saturday. I'm thinking on Saturday we're doing some. Oh wait, Saturday's streaming day. Huh? I never realized that. Well, what do we do Saturday? What did we stream last time? Plants vs Zombies 2. So I think it'll probably be Kingdom Rush. Oh no, it'll be Bloons Monkey City. That's my bad. Bloons Monkey City, and then you guys can see all the progress I've made, and I can actually start to make more, which will be brilliant. Because I think I'm probably strong enough now to take on the Bloon Chipper, or the Bloon Chipper unlock quest or whatever it is, but I don't actually know, so we'll see. Oh, sorta. Beautiful cleanup. Actually, still relatively overpowered. Oh, but man, when Sorta was in her prime, much like most heroes, her prime was when she first came out, because they hadn't done any sort of testing. And I feel like they purposely choose to make things overpowered rather than underpowered when they get released. Just so, you know, like, people don't immediately hate using the character. You know, it's always like, oh, new hero, spam using it, it's amazing, it's OP, it's awesome. Rather than, new hero, it's shit, don't bother buying it, save your money. You know? Like, people won't actually buy it with monkey money, and they'll probably just kind of dismiss it as always bad, even if buffs do come into play. But damn, Sorta was insane when she first came out. Still pretty good now, but definitely dropped off since then. The nerfs came in. Oof, and they came in hard. Alright. Yeah, we should definitely be able to afford Crossbow Master before 63, which is always my biggest concern in the early game. Man, I feel like I'm hearing the pops louder than the music. Oh my god, I am. What is up with that? There we go. I want to hear these banging tunes. Alright, but we should be getting Crossbow Master soon, and then that'll pretty much clean up the rest of these rounds. Honestly, the amount of times I've gotten through Odysseys based, like, riding on the back of 1/5 tier, it's insane. And very handy as well. Because, like, I used to get stuck a lot in BTD5, trying to beat, like, round 80 and free play afterwards. But in BTD6, it's much nicer. Because, like, you can just go for less is more. Which is, weirdly enough, probably one of the better strategies. Alright, and even if the Crossbow Master can't beat 63 alone, Prince of Darkness should be, should certainly be an even better option. Like, I already know the Crossbow Master's got this covered, but if you think the Prince of Darkness is better, you could also probably afford that in time. Like, keep this guy on a 4th tier, and then just go for this one instead. You'd easily make it. And in the end, it is down to preference, really. Like, a lot of 5th tiers would easily breeze through around 63 and solve all your problems, and you could probably get them as early as I did, like, what, late 40s, early 50s? But yeah, it's just down to personal preference, and I absolutely adore the Crossbow Master. Just obliterates ceramics and quite a good chunk of Moabs. Do, 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 do. do, 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 do. Ooh. But yeah, I just got back from TAFE. It's still like my first week back, so I'm still adjusting to new things, meeting new people, and getting into the swing of things. But we had a pretty good class today. It was hilarious because we were talking about duty of care, which is usually something you need to take very seriously. You know, your duty of care, like, well, at least in my sort of area in the fitness industry, my duty of care is to my clients, to like my fellow staff members, to civilians that like aren't a part of the gym but still are like nearby, sort of thing. But my lecturer was talking about it, asking us like these almost trick questions, being like, do you think my like his duty of care has changed for us, considering we've been through like a semester's worth of TAFE from when we started? So like from when we started, was his duty of care different to us than it is now? And we were all just like, I mean, we don't see why it would be. We're still students. You should still look after us the same way you look after all the other students. And apparently the answer was no. He said because we had been there a while and we sort of knew the ins and outs, that he could just kind of care less about us. He could care less because we knew more. Which essentially was his way of saying, because we are more proficient and have more knowledge and expertise on the matter, if there's an emergency situation, he can trust us to know what we will do the right thing. But the way he phrased it was, he doesn't have to care about us as much as he did when we first showed up. So it just made it sound like, oh yeah, if there's a building on fire, he'll save the new people to TAFE, but everybody else can just burn. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I love that. Oh, but today was hectic though. I had to wake up at, I think, 6:30, maybe even 6. And I know some people just wake up at 6 in general and just get started with their day, but I cannot handle waking up at 6 or 6:30 anymore. Like, I got into that routine last semester, but I have completely fallen out of it in the 2 weeks break that I did have. So I am just not used to that, and my mind is so out of sync with my sleep schedule. Like waking up at 6:30 because my class is at TAFE at 8 o'clock. And then today was horrible. Today's actually the worst day, so I guess tomorrow's going to be a better day than today. But we started at 8. Actually, I can pull up my timetable. I can actually tell you exactly what happened. It was horrible. Right, we had a class at 8 called Functional Anatomy from 8 till 10. So it was a 2-hour class, not too bad. 2-hour classes are the nice ones, weirdly enough. And then we had half an hour's break until 10:30, and then 10:30 we started strength and conditioning, which went for 3 hours, which none of us were very happy about. And then we had, I think it was 45 minutes break, roughly. And then we had personal training, which also went for 3 hours. So, not a very pleasant day. Not a very pleasant day. We were there from 8 till 5, which is like 9 hours of school. Not very fun, but it's over with. I only have to do that like once a week. Although, our class was split into 2 because there was too many people signed up, so they couldn't handle them all in the one class. So instead, we split it into 2 classes, and the second class absolutely got a way worse schedule than us. Like, they do get Fridays off. Like, they don't have to come in on Fridays, so I'm a little bit jealous of them for that. But we get Tuesdays off, so it's not bad. We still get a day off, it's just not Friday. But on Wednesday, I think, my group has a class that starts at 2 o'clock, whereas the other group has that same class starting at 6:45 a.m. And so I'm just relieved that the latest the earliest I have to get up is 8 o'clock. I am fine with that. When I hear that they're starting at 6:45, yeah, nah, I'm happy to be in this class, in this group. But yeah, we seem to have a lot of cash now. Just throw in another 5th tier if you're not feeling safe. But for the most part, you should be if you've got the Crossbow Master and your Prince of Darkness. And look at it go. Honestly, this sniper's so good. I don't know why I've underestimated this sniper so much until now. And the only reason I'm actually using it is because someone actually told me during a stream, hey, you're using an inferior sniper, you should use this one instead. And I've never really looked back. This has just been an amazing sniper. I really can't fault it. Absolutely not. Alright, last round. But yeah, this Odyssey seems very easy. It's just going to be tedious to get through all the maps. Just because they're all in like the mid to high-ish rounds. I think the highest one was 85, but yeah, shouldn't be too much of a pain. Alright, $27, let's go. Moving on. In the Loop, also a very nice map. Certainly shouldn't have too many troubles on this one either. Oh, but it's Apopalypse. The second we hit this play button, it's gonna start and we can't stop it. It's like a runaway train. That's fine. We don't care about runaway trains. You know what we say to runaway trains? Bring them on. 2 times speed. If you can't tell, I am quite drained from being at TAFE today. But it was still a pretty fun class, not gonna lie. Even if it did take like 8 hours or 9 hours even, I still enjoyed myself for the most part. Nothing too crazy, nothing too stressful. Just show up, stay for the allotted amount of time, and try not to fall asleep. That's pretty much all education is. Just show up, try your best not to fall asleep, and you'll do fine. Because that was pretty much the difference between passing Cert 3 and actually getting into Cert 4. Is because most of the people that passed Cert 3 and got into Cert 4 were the people that showed up. Even if some of them did fall asleep in half the classes, they still showed up, they still got the work done, they still got the work handed to them to do. And so they're now studying in Cert 4. And even if they're still falling asleep now, they still made it. But everybody that didn't show up, or showed up at the start, then got bored and then stopped showing up, none of them are in my class. You really gotta want to learn for it to actually sink in. Which is the absolute worst part about education. If your students don't want to learn, it's very difficult to force them or change their mind. And like 9 times out of 10 that'll happen with the typically boring subjects. Like, I feel like for the most part I can make this generalization. Not many people care about the subject of history or geography. Or at least not many young people care about those subjects, right? Because you think history, why the hell do I need to learn about things that happened in the past, and how in the hell would that actually help me with my job, working on things in the present and in the future? You know, a lot of people will think like that. And I still think like that for history. Because, you know, it's good to be aware of certain issues that happened in the past, and it does give you a bit of insight into people's actions today, but overall, like, you could probably just give them a brief summary rather than turn it into an entire class. Yeah, and then geography, I can see why people would find that boring as all hell, but there is an application for it. There's a few applications for it, actually. Like landscaping jobs and things like that. That's all based on geography and learning the lay of the land and how to measure distance on a map and things like that. So I can understand that part, but, you know, learning about countries and states and just memorizing names and places, that's all horrible. Truly, truly horrible. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to memorize a list for an exam or a test. So that seems kind of annoying, but yeah, I think that's why I didn't do so well in geography and history. I just did not care for it at the time. Slight more interest in geography now, and I feel like later on I'll probably be more interested in history and just kind of, you know, learn how the world worked before I was alive. But yeah, it really just depends on the student. If your students care about the subject, it'll be easy to teach them. If they don't care about the subject at all, it'll be difficult to teach them. Because you first have to teach them to enjoy the subject, and they have to realize the potential of the subject that you're actually teaching. I don't know why I started talking about this, to be honest. Nobody asked a question about it. I just kind of went on that rant. But yeah, the subjects I'm learning are fun. I quite enjoy them. And even the subjects that I don't really enjoy or prefer, like, not to do, I can see the application for it, so I still try and pay attention. If they can't read a map, you don't teach. Yeah. That's true. And like, same thing with like, especially with geography, like a lot of the times geography was used to teach kids how to read a map, especially if they're blind. Oh, true. No, you just need like a 3D interactive map for them. Just give them the different heights and they can feel for it. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the time geography was meant to like teach kids how to read a map, teach them how to work out distances and figure out where they are versus where they're going. And then the GPS was invented, but they're still teaching geography in schools. And like, yeah, I get it, some people can't afford a GPS, or they don't necessarily have access to some form of GPS either on their phone or in their hands or whatever. But like, for the most part, map reading can sort of just be shoved in with the other things they don't teach at school, like dishwashing, taxes, and all that jazz, you know? There's so many life skills they don't teach at school. How can't you afford a GPS? Are you poor? Well, you never know. I feel like, for the most part, if you can afford to go to school and learn geography, you can afford to get a GPS. And it can tell you where you're going and where you are. That's a good point. Or rather, if your parents can afford to take you to school and pay the bills, then a GPS shouldn't be that difficult to get a hold of. At the very least. And even then, why the hell would you get a GPS if you weren't planning on getting lost at some point? That's the entire purpose of a GPS, is so you don't get lost. If you don't want to buy a GPS, just don't get lost. Simple. It's like those memes that are just like, oh, you're homeless? Just buy a house. Easy. Easier said than done. Your phone has a GPS, but if it doesn't have a compass, you can just buy one. They aren't more expensive than 5. Yeah, exactly. Learn some true survival skills. Screw geography class. Take like a Boy Scouts class or something and learn how to follow the sun and look at your compass to figure out where you are in the world. Even better, you can get like some tracker instincts. Look at the trees around you, identify the type of tree, and you could probably figure out if you're in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. Or at least for the most part. Who takes a map to where they're going? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, yeah, you might show up somewhere and they'll provide you a map if it's a place where people typically get lost. But aside from that, why the hell would you take a map? Alright, we might actually need Sorter's ability to sort out wave 40 here. Just because on the last map we had the Dart Monkey shooting first, was it? Well, we had the Dart Monkey and... yeah, we had the Dart Monkey and our Wizard before Sorter. And Sorter was the one that was actually able to finish off the ceramics. But Sorter's kind of first this time, so we'll see how it goes. Should be fine though. 90% of school can just be replaced by Google, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's quite accurate. In fact, I'd even say like 95% of school. There is not that much information that Google couldn't give you. I know for a fact that what carried me through some of my university courses even was basically all fed from Google. Hey, Cinnamon Muffin. Oh, that's false? Why do you think? What would you say? Is there something you learn at school that Google couldn't possibly offer? Google can't give you the good? Please do explain what the good is. Because I think we've all got very different ideas of what the good is. Just good. You can't replace PE, that's true. But who has fun in that anyway? Like, is it ever important? Yeah, that's a good point. PE's probably the only thing that Google can't straight up just feed you knowledge and you actually, like, get better at it, you know? You actually have to go out and do it yourself. But for the most part, you can, like, learn the rules for pretty much any sport on there. Any sort of game, even. If only you could Google abs and get abs, yeah. Sadly, abs take a little bit of effort. Just a little bit. Alright, I forgot Apopalypse is generally harder than normal. Well, that's fine, we're about to get Crossbow Master anyway. There we go. And now we can just wait for Prince of Darkness again, so we're chilling. Oh, you like this map? It is quite a nice map. I think it's one of the few maps that are actually like based on autumn or fall if you're an American. But yeah, it's got a lovely color scheme to it. Absolutely amazing. Very minimalist. Why does this Apopalypse look like round 63? Yeah, Apopalypse is basically like the regular rounds, but auto start is permanently turned on and it's a little bit harder. So like we're getting BFBs, even though it's only round 56. Oh, did that just jump to 58? That was weird. But yeah, so usually BFBs would show up in around 60. We haven't even hit 60 yet and we've had plenty of BFBs. So it's just a slightly more intense version of the regular game mode, but it does mean you get a boatload more cash. So it's fine. And to be honest, once you have the Crossbow Master up, there's really no issues at hand. everyone still has auto start on anyway. Yeah. Yeah. Once you've played BTD6 for like if you're a completely new player to the BTD series, then yeah, you just need to play for like a week, maybe even less than that, and then you'll have auto start pretty much always turned on, unless you're playing something that actually requires you to think a little bit more, like a Chimps mode or some sort of Odyssey that you may have to hit restart a couple of times and take it a bit slower, but yeah, everyone's gonna have auto start on. Alright, and now we're literally just chilling for 5 waves, because there's really nothing that we need to do. Oh, there you go. First ZOMG on round 71, 72. If you already played BTD5, then you immediately have auto start on because you already know how to play. Yeah, true. Like, the only new addition from BTD5 till 6, or the only new additions, have been, like, the extra upgrade pathway and heroes. And that's not too hard to get your head around. You've just got more upgrade options, and you slap down a hero as soon as you can. Also on Chimps, most people still keep auto start on. Yeah. But like, if you're still like relatively new to the game, you might slow it down because Chimps is always hyped up to be an amazing sort of challenge, so to speak. But I don't think it's too bad, to be honest.